the local authority, who are set to explore a new Rediscover Ennis initiative. The proposal would aim to maximise the benefits of the recently completed Public Realm project. The plans would include music played on public speakers throughout the town, trad musicians in key public spaces, and the opening of overflow car parks on weekends free of charge. The Ennis Fianna Fáil councillor Antoinette Bashua believes radical change is needed to increase footfall.
I was travelling up the country in County Meath, and they had free parking on a Saturday, and I was thinking this is probably one of the busiest days of the week, but they were offering free parking as an incentive for the businesses. And we all know the negativity that was around the Public Realm works and I suppose the DAC 2040 Save Ennis. We finally come out the other side of that. And I think now what we need to do is rediscover Ennis, make it a joyous place to come in. We've all, like I work in a county school, so a lot of the people that work there outside of Ennis would say, oh, we don't bother really coming into Ennis because there's no parking or there's nothing on. And I just want to say, I want to show that this is a town, it's a vibrant town. There's something probably on all weekend. But if we pilot a scheme where we're deliberately putting music into the town, asking the community groups that we sponsor and help to come and give an hour of their time and make it a more festival, I suppose a happier place that you can walk the streets and listen to something and then go in, have something to eat, have your coffee, go and shop, but then there's something on the streets to keep you here. So I just decided, sure, why not give free parking, let's see how it goes. Now they have agreed to open up the RS or Drumbigle or the Boys National for overflow if they deem it's necessary. So we need to prove to them that this is necessary. We need to say, yes, we want to come in, we want to rediscover Ennis. What has Ennis got to offer? The streets look amazing, the shops are open for business, and we need to show outside of Ennis what we can offer.
Bit of a catch-22 situation there as well, because obviously the council-owned car parks, which are the ones you've called for free parking in on these dates between the May and the June bank holiday on weekends, and again Drumbigle or Scuntha and Clore where we are right now, and a couple more that I'm sure off the top of my head I'm neglecting to mention. But your catch-22 there obviously is that you want them open for people to be able to get easy parking in Ennis, and I know the council has pledged to do it as an overflow measure, but you'd be afraid that people will come in and say, oh God, I couldn't get parking, and then we'll never get to see the overflow.
Yeah, so this is why the pilot scheme they need to open those parking spaces to show they're utilised, because right now they're just sitting there on days that they're not being utilised for workers. It's going to take thinking, but everybody has to work together. Like, we have to work together in the town to walk into town. The people who work in the town have to work together and park maybe slightly outside of town and let people park in those spaces. It's not an easy fix. We're all in human nature. We always go for the most available spot. I would go around for my shopping and I'm thinking, oh, I want to be nearest to the door. It just takes re-educating ourselves, our minds, to say, just because we have to walk 5 minutes or 10 minutes doesn't mean it's not important to go in and shop and rediscover our town.
And just finally, Antoinette, what commitment did you actually get today? What did the local authority say they will do? So
the commitment I got today was mainly from the tourism, that they said they have initiatives going on and they will look at these. And there was a commitment there to open those overflow car parking spaces. No commitment to give it to us for free, which I think they should. I think they should do this, and it's a pilot basis. If it's not working, you can say, well, we tried. Everybody needs to work together, and with the commitment from the council, I'm hoping then the commitment will be there from the business people and the Chambers of Commerce to do something as well. It takes one step, someone has to make that first step, and I think it has to be the County Council.
The Ennis Fianna Fáil councillor Antoinette Bashua speaking on this particular initiative. I'm joined for more on this by the Chair of Retailers of Ennis, John O'Connor. John, good morning to you. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you very much. And before you start into the mundane of Ennis, problems of Ennis, being half a Kerryman, I feel very duty bound and honour bound just to regale in the glow of Jesse Buckley's.
There's a bit of kingdom in you, is there?
My father was a Kerryman from North Kerry, and really proud of it. So Jesse, you know, Bono Brontamaka in LA, so Mahu.
It's probably too late at this stage, but I think I know who they'll have earmarked for the Grand Marshal of the Killarney Parade next year. That is for sure. No, well done to her.
And tonight I'm going to the cinema in Ennis, okay, and people get out and support that cinema, because what's on tonight? The Bride. I'm going to my good friend Paul Quinn with 1N, and we're going to break our Lenten fast and eat sweets.
Fair play. And he's gotten ahead of the game there. He's brought some sweets in already, so which is great to see. Look, this initiative, Rediscover Ennis, when I was reading about it, I knew you were coming in, I thought John's going to be a big fan of this. Anything that will bring more people into the town, not just bring them in but keep them there and encourage them, persuade them to put their hands into their pockets, has got to be good.
It is, and I kind of really, I'd give total credit to Councillor Bashua Baker, excuse me. She has a good idea. We've been talking about this idea for years, to make more parking available and free parking available. And all you're trying to do is you're trying to add a certain kind of you have a lot of bows in your quiver, or arrows in your quiver, and you want to kind of use them and get people into town. Now, getting people into town and getting to spend are two totally different things.
And maybe can you give us a sense as a retailer in Ennis, what has it been like over the past while? Obviously, the public urban regeneration works was difficult for retailers. That was definitely the sense we got from you and others for some time, but they're done and the town is looking well. But have you seen numbers spending recover after that, or has it been quiet? What's it been like so far in 2026? I
haven't really. It hasn't kind of manifested yet in people spending lots, and I think there are certain obstacles, I suppose psychological obstacles, you have to get over. We've had the last 5 years of regeneration, starting with laneways and then going on to the street regeneration, and that's brilliant. I really adore it, okay. But I suppose what's happened over the years is that it's become fossilised and ingrained in people's minds psychologically that Ennis is not open. For 5 years you become conditioned into believing, well, I'm not going near that place. It's a disaster, okay. So I think it's very important that people like myself come on, people from the executive come on and say Ennis is open, Ennis is a beautiful place, so please come in, dip your hands in your pockets and spend freely.
And one of the things you've talked about quite a bit with us, probably more than you wanted, is parking. So this suggestion of free parking in council-owned car parks on Saturdays for a trial period. What kind of difference would this make in terms of attracting more people into the town and addressing the issue you've just highlighted there?
I think it's very important because, again, we've been talking ad nauseum about this apartheid of business opportunity, and that apartheid is that we do business in town, but there's a paucity of parking in town. Now, with this new initiative, this idea that's been put forward by Councillor Bashua Baker, I think it's a fantastic idea because it'll encourage people to know that if you come into town, you'll have parking maybe in Orriscrunth and Clare or in Drumbeagle or in different kind of places, the Boys National School, and that hopefully will draw people in and just let them regale in the fact that Ennis is there. Ennis is full of business. Ennis is full of amazing, like anybody who comes from outside Ennis just looks at this town and say, oh my God, you've got such a gem. And it is a gem of a town, but sometimes it's important that the people from the locality become invested in the future of the town. If you don't come into town, if you don't take if you don't take this kind of parking thing into mind and don't come into town, you are not investing in the future of the town. And if you don't invest in the future of, we'll say, the business side of the town will die as an entity, because a town cannot survive without the core function, which is business.
Music is your livelihood. Custies, of course. The proposal includes music over public speakers, live trad musicians performing in places like the town square, and who knows, if they're stuck for an instrument or two, they might pop into and buy it. That kind of festival atmosphere, John, it strikes me that would be brilliant. Having that kind of stuff on a regular basis, it just, put a smile on your face wandering around the town. I'm sure it gets the 2 thumbs up from you.
It does, without doubt. Now, I'm not a major fan of pipe music because I think it's a kind of it's forcing a menu on you, and I think sometimes it's not. I think it's much better in town to get people in, maybe have some buskers here and there, okay, within reason. Now, maybe another little sore point I have is buskers with serious amplification. I don't think a good busker needs any amplification.
You don't want too many of them with amps that are too big.
You don't really. Okay, like 10 people on one street, it just doesn't work, okay. But I suppose the whole idea of getting a certain kind of festive atmosphere into town is great. And what you want really is Ennis to magnetise people. into the town, and you can do that in a lot of different ways. Now, in fairness, the executive are breaking their backsides to be respectful, to be cooperative, to be helpful. So they're given every opportunity. And that is a serious change from the previous crowd of reprobates who were there, okay, and ensured that Ennis was going to die a death. The new people are good, okay, and I can't speak positively enough about them, because what the other crowd didn't have, they didn't have respect for people who knew how the town exists or how the town operates. That's business people and locals. So we have positives, okay, we've a lot of obstacles, okay, but you can get over those with that positivity. I'd always look at Ennis and say it's a gem of a place. It's got beautiful spirit, as you said, it's got personality and character. So why not Dingleise it? I go down to Dingle, as I say, I'm half a Kerryman, very proud of it. Dingle has a festival every second weekend. Dingle is in the middle of nowhere. I mean, if you want to get to Dingle, you have to travel seriously out of your way.
Even within Kerry, it's a bit of a journey.
Even within Kerry, it is, okay. So how do they give that package, okay? And what I'm thinking...
Sure, they had the Foo Fighters there recently.
They had the what?
They had the Foo Fighters, Dave Grohl there. That's how attractive a destination it is.
It is, but we'll take anyone, okay? And I suppose what's coming from the council as well is more money being pumped into festivals in Ennis. And I think if you have a lot of people coming into town, it will generally lift all boats as regards business and as regards community, and people getting the idea that, God, a lot of people come in here, this town is beautiful and is well worth taking care of.
Margaret has texted 086 1800 964 saying, will this system work in supermarket car parks? That's where most of the abuse of spaces occurs. That's in relation to the chat that we were having earlier on with Tom O'Callaghan. You can keep your messages coming in on that, or indeed on anything on today's show. We'd love to hear from people on this Rediscover and Ennis initiative, if it is music to your ears. John, certainly sounds like it is to yours, and be interesting to see, I suppose, now how long it takes to implement it.
It is, I suppose, things don't happen overnight, okay, and I suppose it's like a seed. You have to nurture a seed, okay, but I think it's a good place to start from, to have lots of people aligning together in a spirit of cooperation. You have no kind of, like before we used to have disparate views, okay, and you had a lot of sycophants who had a narrative about a certain thing, okay. We don't have that now. We have a lovely little commune of people who are really into doing the best that they can do for Ennis, and that's really positive. If you start like that, it will develop into something very meaningful.
Okay, interesting to see if and when it comes in. But Chair of Retailers of Ennis, John O'Connor, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thanks very much for coming into studio.